Welcome to Tammy Nation. Let's go.
I've been running from 9 to 5, been biting my tongue for all this time. Won't let anyone cut me short. I was thinking this was the way to go, and you put up your puppet show. I say cheers to life. No, I'll be no good man. Just leave me alone. I'm running the show. I'm telling you, it's my time to rise up. Live the life I'm proud of. No, you better go home.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another night of Tammy Nation here. It's good to see everybody again. Give me a second here in comments. I have to drop the link here for Cam because the link that I sent him did not work. So Cam, let's see if you can get in there via that. Welcome, everybody. It is Friday night. It is February 17th, and it is 9:10 in the evening. And I came across a few things in the last 24 hours that I thought were really important, and I wanted to bring up and talk to you guys about tonight. So, hey, Brian. Hey, B-Cats. Cam, let me know if you can get in there through the chat, buddy. I dropped the link in there. It should work, hopefully. So if I get sidetracked by Cam trying to text me, don't mind me, you guys. Hey, Mona. Hey, Kim. So, you guys, I don't know if you heard about this or not, but there was, wait 1 second. Cam just texted me. The link is better. Okay, there you go, Cam. Well, I can't do the link, Cam. Here we go. Well, I did send him a link. I'm going to try to send it again, you guys. He said the link is better. So let me do this. So you guys say hi to each other. Let me re-invite Cam. And I'm going to do it via email and see if I can get it to him. Give me 1 second, everybody. Technical difficulties, right, you guys? We all love when that happens. And my computer is not the fastest, so let me get this to Cam. It'll be the third attempt to try to get the link to him. I'm sending it, Cam. Hang on, and we get going. Okay, there you go, buddy. That should be good now, hopefully. Okay, there we go. Hey, Camperman, it's good to see you. Hey, Georgia. Georgia, it's good to see you. It's been a while. Good to see all you guys. Christopher Sandor, hey, good to see you here too as well. Thanks for dropping in, you guys. Like I said, it was kind of a last minute thing. A couple of things have come through via my messaging with people. And like I said, there's a story about balloons that I want to do towards the end of the show because you guys aren't going to believe this one. And then also this whole thing with the Mr. T speech that didn't happen. So while we wait for Cam to pop on up here, there's a couple things that I want to read to you guys. People have been very generous. All of you people, I said, about supporting me and wondering where I was at and what was going on and stuff. So I got a couple real quick scriptures that I want to read to you guys that people sent me in regards to what's going on out there with the so-called truthers or the experiences I went through, and they sent it for support. And I think that it's very wise, these scriptures. So the first one is Titus 3:10, and it says, as for a person who stirs up division after warning him once and then twice, have nothing more to do with them. So in these times, division is totally different than trying to reveal and expose the truth, right? Division is what we're dealing with, whether it comes with, whether we decide to take certain jabs that have been going around, whether we decide to be truthers, not be truthers, whether we stay behind the scenes or get in front of the scenes because we want to help out there. Division is rampant out there because of all the different attitudes people have. They find a person that they really think that is a truther or giving them information, and then to find out that they don't. So people start coming at the people that are trying to expose it. And that's my point to this. I've always been about the truth. I'm a godly woman. I got, taken for granted and advantage of in many ways that we're well aware of, but I'm not ashamed of that. The fact that my heart was in it, I wanted the truth. I'm still trying to seek the truth with all the crazy things that are going on in this world. And that sometimes means you need to pay attention to the people that maybe you wanted to pay attention to before because you think, oh, they're bad people or they're just in it for this or that. I've learned something. If you pull back your view and your perspective and you pay attention to what everybody has to say, you're going to find your truth in that. You're going to also find some lies and some deception, maybe from the very people that you didn't think were going to do that. So the other thing is that they sent me this scripture was Matthew 7:15, and it says, beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. And this was a man that sent this to me, you guys. And it's a man that's out actually, and he's been in this public arena trying to take truthers down for a while or expose them. I don't want to say take them down, but he has a very vast amount of information with certain people that have been brought to the forefront recently. And I really appreciate him reaching out to me. And that's what it's all about. Oh, here's Cam. Here's the Cama. But anyhow, the last little bit of scripture that he sent to me that I wanted you guys to hear is, it says 2 Timothy 3:1-5. It says, but understand this, that in the last days there will come times of difficulty, for people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, heartless, unappeasable, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not loving good, treacherous, reckless, swollen with conceit, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having an appearance of godliness but denying its power. Avoid such people. So I thought that was really important to share with you guys tonight, because this man that brought this to me, like I said, I've never spoken to this man before, and he reached out to me. He's got a little documentary that he's put together and is out there about some of these truthers building a case. And that's my point. If people have facts and documents and information, that's what's important to me, not just, opinions, just and accusations. So Cam, hey, welcome. You finally got in here. I'm sorry about that. That was really weird how that happened, but weather balloon.
I brought my weather.
Yes. So I
totally not for spying. Totally.
I love it. Because I was gonna say this story I have about balloons is for the end, because I couldn't believe this. This was blowing my mind. But the truther thing that I want to talk about, and the reason I read those scriptures and was talking about this guy, his name is Johnny. I'll tell you that. I won't give last names, but his name is Johnny that reached out to me. So I thank him for all that. But the thing I want to talk about, Cam, is maybe you've heard about this or not, but it was the Trump speech that never happened due to a serious threat. So what it was reported yesterday that it's one of the famous truthers that a certain friend of ours, or I won't say he's my friend yet, an acquaintance, but maybe a friend of yours, that Cold Beer he did on a show yesterday. Cold Beer Confessional, I caught part of it. There's a document out there that a certain truther, famous truther, read on his show. And if you guys go to, not now, when the show is over, go to Cold Beer Confessional on his Facebook page, you will see a link in his chat that has the exact document of the speech that this truther read on a show and claimed that it was his speech that he received from Trump's people. And it was verbatim, with the exception of, instead of saying like a cell phone, it said a couple things. He read this verbatim And what this actual document is a speech or something that came from I guess a truther from a long time ago. His name was Joe M. He used to go by The Storm Is Upon Us, Joe M. from 2018. And this document actually came from him. But this truther said that it was something that Trump's people gave to him. So do you know anything about this, Cam? Did you hear about it at all?
To be honest with you, no. No. Oh God, I don't even know what to say here. Like, because I really just don't think it matters. I mean, I'm not saying, it's something to talk about. Yes, I'm saying, like, from yesterday's podcast, if people can't tell at this point what I'm more concerned about, it's not what some politician's saying or doing or who's right or wrong. So in short, no, I haven't heard of it.
Okay, this is why I think it's important. This is why I think it's important, because you and I were talking about in this world, if people don't know by now, but this person goes by the initials of PG. This person has a lot of females my age or around my age that really follow and believe, and it's all part of that hype and that, scare tactic or whatever.
Oh.
And I think that this is what's important. The document that guy put on his show telling people this Trump speech didn't happen at the Super Bowl or around the Super Bowl like it was going to, is because there was a substantial threat. So he couldn't do it. So this truther comes out on his show claiming he got this speech that Trump was going to read from Trump's people. Bullshit. And he read it. So that's why it's important. Exactly. And
bullshit. Like, first off, why would Trump put it like, I don't know Trump personally. I'm going to tell you right now, he's a big time businessman, and not just him, but any businessman.
Yeah.
You got any speech or things you want to talk about before somebody else gets to it, or a business plan or anything like, you're not going to be handing it out just to random fucking people.
Right.
It's going to be people close to, like, your secretary or your planners or something like that. I call BS on that one, and I don't even know anything about it. But I don't know why some completely irrelevant person, I don't care how many followers you got, you're small to Trump, right? Just like Joe Biden or just like Tulsi Gabbard. I don't care how big of a creator you are. They're not giving you any of their speeches. they're not going to be going out of there. So I just call BS on that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I see why it's important, because I'm assuming it's carrying out a narrative. It's going to mess politics up further, because you got people out here claiming evidence or things that they really don't have, because they're worried about getting viewership, right? It's all about views, clicks. It's not about, yeah.
Well,
Trump
and
doesn't know these people. Well, yeah, John just said it. Trump doesn't know these people. Trump would walk right by you in public, no matter how big of a YouTuber you are, unless you approached him, and would have no business with you.
Mm-hmm.
So I find it. Yeah.
Well, this is the part for me that I want to expand to with my viewers that may have come from the other channel or just know about me. I'm not going to lie. I never had a friendship with Cole Beer and some of the people that are around him. My point is, we cannot stay narrow-minded and say, well, they're bad people or this person's bad and I believe this person only. You and I keep talking about expanding our horizons. When I have somebody reach out to me that doesn't even know me and says, thank you for standing up for the truth. Thank you, because, not all of us are bad people like we're made out to be. And also the person's comment was, you know what? You all may not like the method that we have to use to expose these people and take them down. But the problem is they're monsters. They're taking advantage of people. They're using scare tactics. And he said to me, sometimes you have to become a monster, even if it's temporarily, because it's not like you're going to take these people and expose them by being gentle and kind and friendly and say, please don't do this anymore. So for my viewers and your viewers, that's what I'm saying. There is a unifying moment in life where you say, do I want the truth or do I want to stay blind to the truth? Do I want to open myself up to these people or not? And I'll tell you what, CBC, and he doesn't know I'm doing any of this. I have never had a conversation with the man, but after I saw the documentation and the facts that he had, to me, this was a big deal, because it's not like he makes accusations, I noticed, and then he can't follow them up. There's the actual document, and he actually had the guy saying it behind him verbatim. And that's what I want people to open up their minds to find the truth, so they can come out of this fog, not be so aggressive at people and just call people names and just act crazy. You need to have knowledge. Knowledge is power. So open yourself up to it. And that's why I wanted to bring that up tonight. That's why.
Oh,
because
yeah, it's a good reason. But
yeah,
I like I said, I've been watching Tim Pool a lot lately.
okay.
And Tim Pool was like, so to give a little backstory, in my opinion, of how I took him, and I'd almost agree that a lot of the people that I'm around, conservative, Republican people, even libertarians, would tell you, even Democrats or liberals, they also watch Tim Pool, because Tim Pool's like in the middle. He's just honest. He shows documentation and proof. He's a journalist, right? Investigative journalist. But when I started seeing that Tim Pool was getting his whole tune was changing, and he came out with a show today, and I was actually going to go live just to play that 22-minute video of Tim Pool and what he's talking about, because I just could not believe that I could describe today's situation any better than the way he just did. And he flat out said it today. And I know this is going to piss a lot of people off, because we're so charged against conspiracy theories because of QAnon that we go after people who start saying things that sound ridiculous to us. Well, Tim Pool finally came out with his 1.5 million subscribers between two platforms, and basically said, I see some of these conspiracy theories actually coming to fruition. And then what are people going to say? Not all of them. Not all of them. Mm-hmm. Some of them are completely freaking ridiculous. But just using the train derailment, why is the government, where are all your Democrat and liberal go green people today?
Yeah. Where's Greta? Isn't her name Greta?
Yeah, I posted that like what 3-4 days ago. Where's Greta Thunberg? Where's she at? Not that she needs to be there, but the point is you got DeWine that was playing it down for the first few days. Mm-hmm. Now he's starting to make a little bit better progress. You got Pete Buttigieg doesn't want anything to do with it. You've got people's animals dying. You got people saying that everything they're doing, okay, if this was just an accident. Now, I'm not saying I believe either way. I'm just saying, I'm giving an if. If this was just an accident, that's most likely, believe it or not, going to go down as the worst American natural disaster in American history, okay, because of the impact area and just how long it's going to last. There's crickets about it. If it was just genuinely an accident, why aren't people coming together, right? Why aren't people coming together and trying to clean this up? Why did Joe Biden deny? Now, I know what people will say. Everybody wants to say the facts, because normally you don't get FEMA help because nobody's housing or anything was affected by it. It doesn't matter. Right. Federal emergency management, right? We need help over here from the federal government for cleanup, for people's well-beings. It's a health concern. They got denied. So basically the state of Ohio is on its own. They're not willing to admit yet that West Virginia is right on the same river. It's going to go over West Virginia. Nobody's talking about that. If it was just an accident, then why is everybody covering it up so much? Yes. Why? I'm just saying it puts a little bit of mystery out there, like, Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And Buttigieg, I mean, there are people now calling for him to leave his position because he hasn't. Yeah, at least there's some noise being made about it. I'm just an optimist, Cam, and I just think that we just fight long enough, the wrongs will be made right. It takes all of us just to keep aware of it and not give up is what I think. And how they're handling everything just to me is very, like you said, sketchy, when they're more concerned about what's going on in Ukraine and all this other stuff. Like we said before, that's sketchy right there. You know, I said the other day, there's not one thing that I can think about this administration that makes me feel like I'm represented, loved, and cared about at all. You know, I feel like sometimes it'd be easier to go across to Mexico and then cross the border legally, and I'd be treated a lot better and I have a lot more benefits. And that's really a sad thing. It's really a sad thing.
I just think there's a lot, like I said last night. I'm not prepared, but I want to, play a few videos, but I wasn't prepared tonight. I was honestly just going to take, like I said, taking a few days away from it because, I've talked to you about this, Tammy. People are so divided today. If, not that I'm not going to say what I feel. I do believe that there are some conspiracy theories that have a lot of merit. I think that there's legitimate reasons that a government would lie about certain things, right? Or avoid certain things. I completely denounce QAnon. I pretty much always have. I don't think that, well, number one, from a common sense perspective, how's that going to help anything, right? Think about it. Whether or not somebody that claims they've got evidence on, Ep Island and all these places, and whether this is all a move, it doesn't matter, because what matters is what's happening to hundreds of thousands of people in the next 5 years because of this tragedy. What matters is, inflation, or what matters is the growing global conflict. Let's just call it that at this point,
Yeah, really. But we have to take them out, get them, voted out. So we have to obviously get that system straightened out before we can make any changes. Everything you say is exactly true. But if things are corrupt or people are corrupt, you're not going to be able to have the difference. So that's why I think it's important to keep giving this information to people, to keep educating people on how they can make the changes that need to be made. And I say, it takes everybody to do something, a little something. I don't care if it's calling your local person and you're not happy, a representative, about something that they're planning or not planning, or the school system and stuff. There's so many different ways to be able to get involved now. It is not hopeless, and our voices matter. Our voices way outnumber the few so-called representatives that we have, so I just say you just got to keep fighting the good fight. Another thing that came out that I wanted to talk about, Cam, was, I don't know if you heard the George, I'm going to say the S guy, because I'm not going to say his last name, but we know he is the billionaire, right? That seems to be running everything, who dumped tons of money here in my state of Georgia for different Democratic people. He was even funding rhinos that were, really Dems that ran as Republicans, and in the areas around me. And some people are trying to do exposés on these people that were false, running under the guise of Republican when they're not. But the point is, Mr. George S. came out and was saying his hope for 2024 was that Trump and DeSantis will slug it out for the Republican nomination. And he said Trump has turned into a pitiful figure, continually mourning his loss of 2020. Big Republican donors are abandoning him in droves. DeSantis is shrewd, ruthless, and ambitious. He is likely to be a Republican candidate, he said. So my thing is, when you come out and it's George S. and he's almost kind of promoting DeSantis, I don't think that's going to be a good call for DeSantis, and it'll be interesting to see if he comments on it. Do you have any thoughts about that?
Well, first off, I gotta be careful how I say this. Like, the more I read into it, again, I'm with Tim Pool on this one. I'm with some of the people out there that say the same thing's going to happen as far as the election in 2020. I wanted to comment on that.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people think that Trump just
we have to be careful. We have to be careful with some words too. Don't forget.
But he just lost flat out because of a rigged system. I tend to disagree a little bit. We've had discrepancies in that system for decades. They've always been there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that Trump, just like Joe Biden, this is going to be a stain on Biden come 2024. The new Palestine situation, the Ukraine-Russian conflict, elevated gas prices, the homeless situation, abortion, right? These are all going to be issues that when 2024 comes, the people who voted for him are going to second guess themselves, especially if there's a better candidate, right? Like Tulsi Gabbard or somebody like that, right? I think Trump, I do. I think I liked how he was straightforward, but he went a little too far with certain things. I think COVID did it. I think that was very responsible for him not getting reelected. Even though you got people on the right that were like, "Oh, he did everything perfect." Well, see, here. I'm sorry to go off on these tangents, but it's true because a lot of even your way far right, you're not far right leaning political commentators or YouTubers, Steven Crowders and things like that. They'll come out and say, everybody's all Trump, 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 but you guys really forget that this was a lot of the reason that these jabs were not proven safe or effective or testing wasn't because Mr. T pushed it through. He prided himself on it. It was, push this all the way through right now. We need this immediately. The reason I bring this up is there are, believe it or not now, Republicans that don't support Trump any longer because of that one issue.
Mm-hmm.
So my point is I think Trump lost momentum with his own party. I mean, look at some of the people that are in the chat right now, and some of the people on my channel were voted for Trump, right? But they don't want to vote for him, and they were like, nope, he lost us at the whole. I think Trump cost himself the election in a lot of ways, but I'll also put a little bit of blame that it was a very, very bad time for any president, because there's going to be issues that come about when you're a president or you're even a business owner and you've got 25,000 employees. Every time something bad happens, everybody's looking at you, and you're not going to be able to solve every issue. You're just not going to be able to solve every issue the way everybody out there wants you to. Everybody thinks they have the answers, but when you're the guy at the top, like Donald Trump or any president, it's going to affect you very negatively. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And but what I do like, and what BB said, I'm with you. I'm sick of the mudslinging. He says, I want to know how they're going to make this country better. I don't care what happened years ago. We are in the now. I absolutely agree with that. And this is the thing that I have to give Trump credit for. Now, I'm tired of people saying because you support him, you think that, he's God and he's not, that's crap. What I'm saying is because of him, he lit the fire with politics and helped expose, along with people with him, what a mess that we're in. And here we are all these years later, we're still actively looking for answers. We are involved. He's made us pay attention, Cam. And you're right. It doesn't matter, who it is really that you want to lean towards, as long as the representatives, we hold the representatives accountable for what they say they're going to do after they get elected, and they do that. The follow through on our parts is important, and you think it shouldn't be, but it has to be, because they've got away from it for so long. Because we all know these politicians, all they do is say, most of them say what we want to hear to get elected. After they get elected, then they do whatever. Make these deals, do this or that. But when you talk about this movement that is going on with the QAnon, I know there's Q and I know there's Anons, but it's not QAnon. But this is what happens because they keep making all these promises and all this is going on. So it stifled a lot of people sitting in front of the computers waiting for something to happen. And you know what? That's another confession I have. I went down that rabbit hole for a good probably year. I was watching everybody, writing stuff down. Monkey Works, I have a whole journal on all the stuff he was saying with the planes in the air. The point is, I learned stuff. I did learn stuff, but I also saw that, not everybody is in it for the good, or not everybody is in it to make the world a better place. They're in it to line their pockets for the fame of it, or whatever excuse you may find. So that, I don't regret that experience, because without it, I wouldn't have any background to what is going on now. But I did want to come out of it, because I thought, how long can people sit here, just eating cereal in front of their computer, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because they're afraid they're going to miss something that somebody says, or a little code here or there. And it is so exactly true. Not everybody is going to know, not anybody is going to know exactly what is going on. You're going to get lies from the left, lies from the right, lies from the top, lies from the bottom. So now's the time. You just got to pay attention, take action. And yes, we have to worry about having valid elections. That's true. I've experienced here in my state. You guys don't even, and I'm not even in a bad part where a lot of stuff went way AWOL here. Okay. The small little area I'm surprised at what's going on here in this small little area. So I can't even imagine bigger areas. I mean, these people, whoever is the money at the top, have all these little tentacles and veins that feed through everybody that is existing in every elected seat, and they know each other and they hang out together, and then it's somebody's son or somebody's daughter that get in at a lower level. So it's just it's insanity. So like I said, I don't like to be pessimistic. I am optimistic that we are making a difference. At least some things seem to slowly be coming to fruition. Some of these representatives seem to be paying attention and trying to make change. And the last little thing before you comment, I got into it so much, it got to the point that people are believing that it's only God, Trump, and that's the only people that know what's going on, God and Trump. That is very dangerous. God, of course, but not even Trump comes out and says that. And if you notice, Trump doesn't talk like that. Trump, yeah. So like I said, you guys we have to grow up. We have to form a brain here.
I want to address, it's going to take me just a couple minutes, but I want to address a couple our comments in the chat.
Okay.
I don't think just because you're a politician, you shouldn't run, because, because a lot of people do say this. I understand what people are saying when they do that. Like Mona, she goes, when Trump ran before, he was a businessman. Now he's a politician. Well, that shouldn't disqualify somebody. Tulsi Gabbard's a lifelong politician. Jim Jordan's a lifelong politician. Ron DeSantis, lifelong politician. Robert Kennedy, lifelong politician. Ted, lifelong politician. Are they not eligible? I mean, so my thing is, I don't care if you're a politician. That's your job. That's your title. When you introduce yourself to somebody, I'm a politician. I'm a political figure. So I don't think that has anything to do with Trump and losing. No, Trump's always going to be remembered as the president. He was a president of the United States. He's forever going to be a politician now. Should that exclude him from any future involvement in politics? No. Number two, I do not believe Trump's the only guy that can save this country. Far from it. Absolutely not. That is, and I'm not, this is, again, my opinion, but I think this is the opinion of a lot of big people out there now that are actually conservative and Republican. Trump's not the only one that can fix it. Trump's not the end all be all for the United States. Jim Jordan could run for president and do just as much good. I do not think that, just like Tammy just said, the third thing I would like to say, BB, BB said, damn it. Sorry, let me find it, because
that's okay. Find it.
Hold on.
And then B Cats, I'll get to your comment too after Cam's finished.
Oh, here it is. Yes. And this is where I agree I couldn't agree with BB more. I've been saying this since shortly after 2020 on my old channel. I went to Washington, D.C. for all this, okay? Trump should have immediately denounced QAnon. You know why he didn't denounce QAnon? Because at the time, this was all new, remember? There were millions of Americans that jumped on the Q train right after 2020. If Donald Trump would have come out and said, this is hogwash, there would have been rednecks in Alabama burning American flags in 55-gallon drums. It would have been chaotic, and he knew it.
Mm-hmm.
He knew that was a majority of his voter base. But I will say this, it's not Trump's fault that crazy people tied his name to a crazy cult group.
Yeah.
It's not his fault, but he should have come out and said, I do not support this. I'm not in line with this. I'm just the president working for the American people, no matter who you are, but I do not subscribe to these crazy theories. The same way that the Democrats refuse to denounce Antifa and the Bureau of Land Management, right? They won't do it because it's their voter base.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, call him a sellout, but he should have done that. He should have done that immediately. Get away from it as fast as you possibly can. I just want to close it back up. I do not think Trump's the only person that can fix this country. I'm going to come out and say it right now. I was hated when I did it, but I always, he kind of did gigs, but didn't do it enough. And that's why you have the people like Shar, BB, all these people that are over on my channel and Will's channel, and a lot of these people, they're all conservative people. They just got off that. Nope, we're not going for it. When they did, then their own conservative party started calling them Antifa because you didn't subscribe to every little Q drop that came out of the whatever. No, I don't think that Trump's the only one to fix it. And I'll say this right now. If Tulsi Gabbard runs, it's going to take one hell of a candidate to get me not to vote for her.
Okay. Well, I want to, before you get too far down that, I want to say, you know, what B-Cats was saying, that I thought Q is a military operation. Well, I'll tell you what, you know, it's like anything in life. There are these orders. When you dive deep into these orders, there are orders that were signed. There's orders that have never been taken out. There's kind of some smoke there. My problem comes in because people mess it up, just like we do with spirituality. People get their greedy little fingers in and they figure, how am I going to make a buck? How can I do this? And they dirty it up. So even if there is some kind of military operation going on, you can believe in that. But the point is, causing division, having your head up in your know what, where you can't see the light of day, and attacking people as if you know for 100% sure that's the truth, when it's not, does no service to everybody. This has been 3 years. And the bottom line is, if that's really true, then we don't really have a lot to worry about. And there's no reason for us to fight, because just sitting there saying, yep, I believe in that letter of the alphabet, and I'm going to sit here and you guys wait, I'm going to show you, because it's all going to happen. And then you're going to eat your words. I don't want to waste my life 3 years, 4 years, 5 years till whatever happens. I want to be active and enjoy my life, and not try to be afraid and not be blindsided by this stuff. All this stuff is way big and above and beyond you or me or a few people on YouTube. Okay. These people that are involved in this, if there's the C word, the cabal and all that, fine, that it's there. But the thing is, you just have to pay attention on a daily basis to how you can make a positive difference. If you start cutting off your neighbors and cutting off friends because they want Trump and not Tulsi Gabbard, or they want Biden and not, that's where the disservice to us comes in, you guys. That's where they win. That's what I'm saying. So many families stop communicating, you know, with all this that blew up. You know, I have people that I know that don't like Trump just because his tweets, or he doesn't talk the right way. I am so over people expecting people to look the pretty little package and have the perfect verbiage, otherwise they aren't going to support him, because that's judging people. You have no idea who people are just by the way they look all the time. Trump was harsh, and Trump was truthful, in my opinion. You go down to these slimy, I call it car salesman people, no offense, Cam, because I know you were one, and they look the pretty part, the Bidens and, the all these different representatives, and they may look the part, clean shaven and have an expensive suit and tie on, but that doesn't mean their insides are good or their intentions are good. So I'm saying, get off the surface level stuff, dive a little deeper, do some investigations into these people, what their histories are, what they stand for. Have they changed it? Did they just change it to get elected? And educate yourself. That's what I'm saying. Then to me, you can make an informed, educated decision. You know what I mean? John H. No, I don't remember what I said the first time on LW. John H. I don't remember that. You'll have to type it in there if you want, or message me or something.
I'm with BB. I vote for the best, but I'm not just going to say I vote for the best. I have always been somebody, and me personally, I vote on policy. I don't vote on whether I like the person. I don't vote on whether their hair's red or green. I don't vote on whether they're male, female, black, white, Mexican. I don't give a shit. I vote on policy. What is this person coming forward and offering? What is it that they're going to do for the American people? Does it help my family in a way? Does it help my neighbors? Are they focused on important issues and not bullshit like these stupid social issues, like whether you can be a girl or a boy and get it on? Who cares? We need to worry about the big things first. We need to be worried about conflict. We need to be worried about our foreign adversaries. We need to be worried about fossil fuels and the prices of it, and the food cost, and farming, and education systems, and Jesus, God, our Department of Transportation, for obvious reasons, because there's a damn chemical plume in New Palestine.
Why are people not making a bigger deal out of that? Like, there's crickets. This should be reported all over. These clouds are not good.
It's either a failure on this. It goes back to this. People, you don't have to believe me. I've been watching politics I'm 40 years old. I watch it all the time, not as much as I used to. Every administration gets blamed for the current problems, whether the administration before caused it or it doesn't matter. You get blamed when you're there. If they would come out and Pete Buttigieg would say, well, that train actually derailed because we hadn't repaired that part of that track in over 25 years. That's a stain on Biden's cabinet. They don't care that Trump could have fixed it, or Obama or Bush. They only care now. That's how people are. They're going to look at it. This is just an example. This is just an example. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying, if they come out tomorrow and Pete Buttigieg goes, well, Railroad Authority did an investigation, found out we had, 5 or 6 railroad ties in that area that were sinking in the ground 6 inches. This train was overloaded. Okay. And it derailed itself. The people of New Palestine are going to be like, well, then why didn't you fix it, Mr. Director of Transportation? And who appointed this guy? Pete Buttigieg. Who appointed him? Biden did. Biden does not, I don't care what anybody thinks. No president wants to take ownership of nothing, because when the election comes around, all the people in the United States are going to remember, well, had it not been for Joe Biden's crappy freaking railroad, our Department of Transportation, we wouldn't have chemical water all the way down to Mississippi River. All kinds of stuff. And who knows what's going to happen in the next couple of years. What if, this is another thing Tim Pool was talking about, this whole Russia-Ukraine thing escalates. It's almost bound to, right? We're feeding weaponry over here to to the Ukraine. What happens if we do get an attack? Right?
Right.
The American people are going to look at Joe Biden as another warmonger.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to go, oh, he's responsible. We don't want to be at war. You see, that's what I'm saying. That's just a possibility. They might be trying to keep it hush hush because they don't want to come out and say, whew, we've really neglected our transportation systems in the United States because we've been too busy giving $1.5 billion every month to the Ukraine.
Right.
When
they want to cover it.
Putting it into our railroad systems that are decrepit. And if you don't believe me, I'll do a video and show you some of the railroads around here. They're horrible.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like some of the bridges that we got 2 bridges here in the Cincinnati area that have cracked and almost failed in the past 10 years. You got the 265 bridge coming from Kentucky into Ohio on the east side of Cincinnati. It was shut down for damn near like 3-4 months because it got a stress crack in it, but they don't have the budget to rebuild it. You got the Ben Sprints Bridge that they've been wanting to rebuild for freaking decades now, but they don't have the budget. And if they go to the bridge, there's traffic. Nobody's going to be able to get through. It's going to take 2-3 years to build a bridge like that. They just got done rebuilding the 421 Madison Bridge. That took 5 years and billions of dollars to replace that bridge. My point is, our government's been paying every other country in the freaking world billions and trillions of dollars, and we haven't been taking care of ourselves. And if they come out and say that this train wreck, for example, was the result of piss poor maintenance or lack of funding for Norfolk Southern and employees, or trying to do things under budget, because what I'm kind of feeling here is Norfolk Southern knew that train didn't have the proper brake system and that it was overloaded. They knew this. They still sent it because, inflation, and maybe they don't want to pay a bunch of money. If they come out and say that that's why it happened, who do you think the American people are going to blame, especially new Palestinians? Who are they going to blame? They're going to blame Trump? He's not here anymore. Are they going to blame? No, they're going to blame the Biden administration.
Well, my thing is how, real quick too, John H., what he had said was the best way to overtake a nation is to make the enemy think there's a super duper extra double top secret plan to win. That's a good one. That's true. But how do these people, I guess this is how, they keep getting in. Like Pete Buttigieg, is there anybody that even liked him or considered that he would be competent to run? And the next thing you know, he got voted in, supposedly. Now, the people, that's where I think that there's major corruption and problems, is because some of these people, the Pelosi's of the world that have made a lifelong career out of this, that, I cannot believe people would vote these people in, and it's a straight legit thing. I have real issues with that. We see some of these people. Look at what happened to, was it Fetterman, that John guy, who's now they're saying he was had mental issues and he was just hospitalized, and don't they call him, what is the name they call him? The big dopey guy, from Adam's Family, Uncle Fester. Uncle Fester.
They put him there as opposition to the runner-up. That's all that was. He's a useful idiot. That's all there is to that. You've seen it happening all over the place. I don't want to go bashing Trump, but I'm sorry to say this to people. I'm not bashing Trump. I'm bashing. The other thing with the whole midterms is I think Trump was endorsing not good enough candidates. And there's a lot of people that believe that. You're going around endorsing all these celebrities and Dr. Oz's and football players to be all these politicians, and then they lose, and it's like, well, we got to call it a voting indiscrepancy because we can't put blame on what it actually was. But that's all Fetterman was. Is he was opposite for Oz, right, or whatever. You know, he was.
But
just
I mean,
in
the thing is, he's in. He got in. You can't tell me, are we that messed up as people that we would vote somebody like that in, or is it not? It's corruption.
You and I could
Look
go to a city today, like let's say Philadelphia, okay? Live there a couple of years, get into local politics, and I guarantee you they'd vote my dumb ass in as long as I had a D next to my name and I was willing to let them do whatever the hell it is they want to do. If I was willing to go around and say, transgender studies in all the schools, open floodgates for whatever you want to do with your own body, all marijuana's legalized. You want to keep, you want me to turn a blind eye to the mafioso running the unions, the labor workers unions? Okay, yeah, I'll do that. All right, you're in. You just sit at the desk like a useful idiot, because that's what you are. When you come in and you want to fix things and make it fair for everybody, and you want to run the country per the Constitution and people's rights, that's when you're gonna have a hard time getting voted. When I went to go, Tammy, I told you about this on the phone, I do believe. I was going to run here in my district here in Indiana. When I was a supervisor at Hillrom, there was a guy in there that used to be what do they call that? Campaign manager for one of the district representatives around here for the House here in Indiana. Okay. And he told me, I said, I want to run as Republican. And he looked dead at me. He goes, son, I'm going to tell you a secret here, at least here in Indiana. All of us Democrats are conservative. But if you run on the Republican ticket, you're not going to get any campaign funding.
Wow.
If you run as a Democrat, you'll get all kinds of funding. You know what I mean? You'll get all kind of funding. That's why we all run as Democrat around here. But then we get into office and we do our policies off of conservative values. And I remember him teaching me that a long time ago. He goes, if you want to keep running for office the rest of your life and never get elected, run as a Republican. Now, I kind of disagree with that now because things are changing, but this dude was as conservative as anybody. And his whole career, when he ran for office, he ran under the Democrat ticket.
Wow.
Because you get people that'll buy your little yard posters, but you get volunteers that want to be on your campaign. And Republicans don't have that. Republicans want that. Lily G says, Cam, provide 3 reasons why you want Tulsi Gabbard for president. Why? Oh, God, there's more than 3, but I'll go ahead. I could actually show you video after video of her YouTube channel. Number 1, huge supporter of the Second Amendment. She's absolutely floored that they just made almost 22 million Americans felons overnight with the pistol brace rules. She backs and funds the lawsuits against the ATF right now and taking it to the Supreme Court. So there's one. Number 2, she is past military. I always thought that was really good. I'm not saying that you can't be a politician unless you're in the military. That's not what I'm saying. But she's very intelligent. She's very educated, very quick-witted. And she was military. Number 3, family woman. She's a wholesome person. She open and honest with everybody. I love that. She shows herself surfing. She'll tell you anything. She's open. She never refuses an interview.
That's what we want. That's what we need.
She's going to bat against the Democrats, which she was just not long ago. She's basically, in a way, risking her own damn career that she could easily, let's put it, Tulsi Gabbard, with her looks and smarts and past military history, she could go into the White House as another Bernie Sanders and make millions of dollars and never look back. What did Tulsi Gabbard do? She flipped the script on them, switched to an independent party, which is pissing the freaking Democrats off, by the way. And she's making her life harder for the American people, right? 4, very constitutional woman. Okay. Now, a lot of people may not like this because of the whole abortion issues and yeah, she supports it all. And if you're American too, you let somebody do what they want. That's their rights. I don't think it's something you need to get involved with like that and determine a politician on that. You'd be surprised right now, a lot of the Republicans that you guys support that really don't want to have an opinion on the abortion issue.
It's
They
true.
want to run on the issues that matter. And it does matter, but let the states determine that. Keep your federal nose out of it.
Mhm.
There's just a few reasons. Tulsi
Those
Gabbard,
are
in my
good,
opinion, has come full circle. I don't know her personally, no more than you guys know Donald Trump personally, right? Do you know that they're really going to flip or go back to their old ways or get worse this way or worse that? No, none of us know that.
No, there's no
That's why I wrote
predictive
off
for
the
that.
college. Well, I'll vote for Tulsi Gabbard because she's American, she's constitutional, she's 2A, big time. I think of Tulsi Gabbard as should have been Alaskan. You know what I mean? She's almost like the, you know, and no, I do. I want to see the first woman president, but I don't want to see it be Hillary Clinton. I want to see it be right now, I'm sorry to say, Carrie Lake, kinda. I know it's going to piss you guys off too, but if it was Carrie Lake versus Tulsi Gabbard, it's going to be hard for me. A Tulsi Gabbard, a Lauren Boebert. Yeah, that's just me, but that's my opinion. It doesn't mean that I disagree with you guys politically, or I'm not going to vote Republican, or that I don't care about my Constitution, or it doesn't mean that at all. It just means that some fresh blood like Tulsi Gabbard. Actually, what I told my wife, Tammy, what I told my wife today is I was like, it would be really cool to see some fresh blood, man. A Jim Jordan, Tulsi Gabbard administration.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Jim Jordan is president with Tulsi Gabbard as his vice president, or, you know, or Kennedy out of Louisiana, him as president or something, and or vice versa, have her as president. I think Trump running for president again is not going to be very effective because of all the blood in the water. I know that sounds stupid, and it's probably very uneducated and not well thought out on my behalf, and I could do a much better job in explaining why, but I think Trump going back into office is, oh God, it's going to be just a replay of the first four. He's going to get attacked by the Democrats because they absolutely despise him, and he's going to spend more damn time fighting that bullshit and getting blocked up in the Senate and the House. And
yeah, I want to bring up somebody else too, real quick, Cam. I don't want you to lose your thought, but you know, somebody else here said that they would vote for Carrie Lake, but not against Trump. But then Mona was talking about Nikki Haley supposedly put her hat in, but if it was against Trump, but Nikki Haley came out recently and said, I saw an interview with her. She said, if Trump runs, I am not going to run against him. So basically now they're saying she was doing it for attention, doing it to sidetrack, whatever, that really she didn't have any leverage before, and she certainly doesn't now. So basically she did come out and say if Trump runs, she's not going to run. But the thing is, you know what's exciting about this is it's exciting. Politics have gotten exciting again, because when you say, and I know Pelosi's gone and some of these other people are gone. I saw that John put that in there. I do know she's gone. But the thing is, it was so stale and lame for so long. People kind of fell asleep to it. And I love that it's invigorating everybody again to be involved and make the changes. And I don't care mostly what age you are. A lot on the older end really don't want to, really don't have, I don't want to say stamina, just the drive for it. Because me being involved in the stuff that I am here, the very thing that you said is what we need, is the younger blood, the fresh blood, the people that are aggressive, the people that, you know, have the energy and stamina. Because for such a long time, there's been so many of them that are just kind of just so comfortable. They're in their 70s and 80s or whatever, and been in it forever, and they just have lost their oomph. You know, that happens in life. So you would think that they would be the leaders that they're supposed to be and promote younger, more vibrant people, or something for change, instead of being so greedy, wanting to keep that seat, and they're bored with it, you know? So I'm not saying for everybody, but it happens. We get comfortable. Once you get outside of your comfort zone and once you broaden your horizons, boy, there's a whole brand new world out there and adventures. And I'm really open to all the different people that might be running or going. And it's just so, to me, great to be able to talk about it.
Kim, I agree with pretty much everything you said. I'm not saying I don't want Trump back. I'm saying that, okay, but what you said, what I wanted to, he really didn't get a first term. They fought everything he did. He knew something. So she says, I want him back because they want him gone. Trump knows something, and he really didn't have a first term. So what I'm going to say to that is, I don't think, a flaw in Trump that I see is there's quite a bit of arrogance there. There really is. He took the loss very personally, which I would have too. No doubt. Especially if I thought there was indiscrepancies, it would have hurt a little. It's almost like losing your championship baseball game to somebody who cheated and didn't get caught, possibly, allegedly or possibly. There's a lot of ego there. What Trump needs to do, and this is just my opinion, let new blood get up in that White House. Let the Tulsi Gabbards and Jim Jordans and the Ted Cruzes take your place. If you're going to be a real, just because you're not president anymore, Donald Trump, does not mean you can't help from the sidelines. If somebody gets voted in, like, whatever, okay, Carrie Lake, Tulsi Gabbard, whoever it may be, you would want to assist them with what you know.
Mm-hmm.
Look at how this is where now that's the bad thing, the ego. The good thing is that Trump did. Do you think that Tulsi Gabbard would have dropped the Democrat ticket had it not been for Trump and all the shit he did expose? Do you think that all these people in the United States would have ever woke up to a lot of this had it not been for the Trump administration? Not
Right,
saying
no.
he's all perfect, and I'm not saying that
No.
he is the best president that will ever be in American history. I'm just sitting there saying he did a lot of good, and he needs to continue to do good whether he becomes president or not. And people out here need to stop hating each other and getting mad when somebody says, I'm not going to vote for the guy again. Doesn't mean I hate the person. And I'm not even saying I wouldn't vote for him. All I'm saying is if I got the chance to vote for a 40-year-old woman with a military background that's going to appeal to the younger voters, that's going to make cultural change in politics, it's going to be really hard for me to vote for the 70-year-old guy who has a grievance and an ego for 2020. I'm going to disagree.
I'm going to disagree with you on that. Can you hear me? There we go. I'm going to disagree with you on that, and the fact that I think he did a hell of a lot of good and he exposed a hell of a lot in the 4 years that he was in. And if he didn't face everything that he faced, I can't imagine what he would have done. So this will be interesting come 2024. So we can disagree on that because nobody has faced the resistance, the amount of resistance that man did. He didn't have, so I'm going to give him credit for that. And a couple other things.
Well, I gave him the credit. Like he did do a lot of good. I think Trump's a great guy.
I just think for 4 more years, maybe we'll see, Cam, we'll see, because if he got 4 more years of nobody going against him in the way and everything's straightened out, maybe it could be even better. Who knows? But, we'll wait and see on that.
Here's one of the big issues with the Trump thing. And I've been watching both sides, the liberal outlets, and I've been watching the conservative outlets. And here, when it comes to Russia during the Trump administration, there's a lot of evidence pointing to the direction is where Vladimir Putin basically looked at Trump as like an idiot servant, right?
You can think that, but I'm going to say we weren't at war. Everything was good. And they thought they thought he was crazy enough or an ignorant servant, fine. But we were in good shape and there were no wars, no threat of war.
Right.
Nobody else walked across with Kim Jong-un, did they? So, there's that kind of concept too. Sometimes you have to be seemingly batshit crazy or an egomaniac to get done what he had to get done. People aren't going to play nice in politics that high up. Putin and them have never played really nice for very long with anybody. At least he didn't keep shifting money. Look how much money we're just shifting out left and right, left and right. So I want somebody, like you said, it can be somebody new and young, but I want them to say, we're closing borders. We are not going to ship money out and get involved in all these other countries in their battles. He's somebody that did that. So I want somebody like that, somebody that has a lot of the similar policies.
Why do people think? Why do people automatically think that somebody like Jim Jordan wouldn't do that? Why do you?
Yeah,
why
I'm not saying he wouldn't.
This is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Trump. The main drawback for me is there's just too much bad blood and there's too much negativity around it, which is unfortunate because, like I said, I voted for Trump 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
Voted for him in 2016. I voted for him in 2020. And I'm not saying I wouldn't vote for him again. I'm just saying I would prefer some new blood because I don't think I think Tulsi Gabbard talks about the border crisis all the time. You don't think Tulsi Gabbard is going to shut the border down? Go watch her channel. She's telling you. It's like I don't know. I just think that
and
we got to be careful with that too, man.
Yeah.
That group think tank shit when it comes to just one person. We like this person. We don't want anybody else.
No, I agree.
Die tomorrow, God forbid. And you don't even have that option. What's everybody going to think then?
Mm-hmm.
Who's somebody you'd vote for? That's what you got to start thinking about.
That's why I say you have to expand your horizons. Yes, Kim, I totally agree. And we also need to stop lobbying. The lobbying, John H. also said, corporate money in politics, that's a big deal because you could be somebody like you or I and run and want the best for the country. And because you don't have money, you don't even get anywhere near anything because people are bought and sold. That's one of the main things we need to knock that off and limit that because like I said, the George guy put a lot of money in here to let people go around and promote themselves and endorse them and stuff. So I mean, that's a problem on there too as well, is all the money, where it comes from, how they're allowed to do it. There's always loopholes that these people do. So we want to make sure that we try to fix that as well.
I recommend watching a Frontline interview with an ex-Russian journalist that worked alongside Putin's administration for a brief time and get to watch some interviews on Putin's strategy and how he operates. You can put all the sanctions you want against Russia. Russia is pretty close to a third world nation. They've learned how to thrive with those issues. I would watch the Frontline interview. As a matter of fact, I don't know, or I'll post it in my community chat or I'll text it to Tammy. It is by Frontline. I know a lot of you guys are like, oh, blah, 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 blah. They're going to praise Joe Biden and they're going to bash Donald Trump. That's not completely true. Because the more important issue is about how Putin operates. Putin will find a way to offset those sanctions. They are. Right? Putin's ultimate goal is, well, you've seen it. It's Crimea, Ukraine, right? He's just desperately trying to get there. And
well, it's not like that place is a safe place. It's all corruption there too, I believe. I don't believe that.
Nobody's had a strong enough stance. No president has had a strong enough stance on Russia, in my opinion. That's just me. What? Yeah. And then look at what about China? We just keep giving sanctions. I mean, I'm not saying go right into war, but something needs to be worked out. I don't know the answers. I'm just saying I don't watch just one side of the politics and only the conservative interviews.
Right. It's not good to do that.
I watch the libertarian journalists that are interviewing with Democrats also, and I want to hear everybody's story. I want to hear
Yeah.
all the sides. And I think Vladimir Putin's a hell of a lot smarter than people give him credit for. But don't ask me how to deal with that situation because I don't know. I'm not going to claim to.
Yeah. So let's get off of that politics because I want to get this last story real quick and stuff. And then the price of eggs, Kathy Weekly said, I got like $6 for 24 the other day. So not horrible. So people got different price of eggs. What are the eggs in your area, your neck of the woods, Cam? Because they were really expensive.
I think now, so versus what they used to be, I do remember because we always buy the oh God, help me out here. At Kroger, the Kroger organic brand.
The organic, yeah.
We always buy the 18-pack because we have kids.
Yeah.
And I remember just about maybe a year or two ago, you could still get them for under $2, maybe $3 for 18. Now you're spending almost $6-7 on that same carton of eggs.
Crazy.
Yeah,
BB.
He just said it. He's in Indy. He's close to me. Probably goes to Kroger. He says that $7 a dozen, pretty much.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy. You know, and there are so many chickens, and they like at least an egg a day. It's just crazy. So that's a crazy thing because they're so abundant. But then remember, it was that chicken whatever they had to do where they had to wipe out a lot of chickens and now the eggs. So anyways, it's just part of the clown world. But this is really what I want to talk about because this appalled me, and this makes me think I am going completely insane. Before I do that, Mona and a couple other people have emailed me about being mods. I will get back to you guys this weekend sometime. I really appreciate it. And I want to take as you know, quite a few, I guess a few, because I want to cover Facebook as well as YouTube. So thank you guys who've reached out to me to be a mod. If you're still interested, those of you who weren't here the other day or didn't see the first show, if you're interested, just email me at tammynation@gmail.com and I will get back to everybody sometime this weekend. But speaking of balloons or weather balloon, like you have back there, weather balloon. So there's weather balloon.
Totally not spying.
Totally not. But this is a story from Daily Mail today, Cam, and I about passed out. There is a 28-year-old man who's attracted to inanimate objects and claims he is in personal relations with multiple balloons. He is from India. And he identifies as objective sexual, which means he is sexually attracted to lifeless things, that he bonds with his balloons. They began as a friendship, and they've blossomed into something more deeper and affectionate. He claims that he... Just wait, there's a little bit more. This is crazy. Like, I thought I was losing my mind. He said that he likes their presence and warmth, and they share intimate feelings with each other. I make out with my balloons because when you're in love, you spend a lot of time together and you accept each other's and all your flaws. He says he wakes up every morning. This is like a bedtime nightmare, not a story, a bedtime nightmare. He said he wakes up every morning saying hello and giving kisses to his balloons. They sleep beside him. He said when they become inflated, that's when his balloons are born. He goes, he talks to him, he takes them shopping and for walks in the garden. And there's a couple more little points here that you need to absorb and then we can discuss. He said they do talk to me through dreams and telepathy. They should have the freedom and the chance to see the world. And that's the reason I walk with them everywhere. Due to his partner's frail nature, he makes sure to take good care of them because they're fragile as human babies, and I need to protect them from all danger. He said his life has changed for the better because he loves his balloons, but he did say this: accidents do happen, and he ensures his former popped partners that they'll have a proper burial. That if there's a sudden death of the balloon, he tries to resurrect them by reinflating them. And if he can't reinflate them, He gives them a funeral by digging and covering them with soil. So the man's happy with his balloons. I don't understand. When somebody sits like this, that means no, 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 no. They don't want to absorb this and hear this. So I have
job interview back when I was a supervisor, and I was sitting there looking. And the only thing I'm thinking about at that point is how am I going to not hire them without getting my first thing, this person probably votes and drives a car, which is very dangerous. Number one. Oh my God. So anyway, so here is a whole nother issue in the world today. Mental illness is on the rise, and it's ridiculous.
Yes.
And I don't know what to say to that. I don't. So
number one, okay, it's an adult male that actually felt content enough in himself and his relationships lovingly with his balloons that he went on an interview on Daily Mail over this, showed his face. There's pictures. You can go look at that. But my question is exactly what you said, Cam. I thought, dear Lord in heaven, mental illness we know is a serious issue. So do you think as a country, and well, let's just say as the Daily Mail, instead of putting out that story for us to laugh at and go, oh my gosh, do you not think that in enabling that kind of behavior, we should help these people get help, get counseling, get therapy? Because just when you think every single time it can't get any worse, it does. Because here it is, this paper, this whatever you want to call it, is putting this article out as if it's a story worthy of all of us, that we need to know this, that this is so important. So either you get things that are important that are shoved to the side, or you get stuff like this that is out there in the world. And there is no making sense of it. It's like I feel like I lose my insanity when I hear things like this. I don't understand the insanity of publishing something like this and talking about this. Oh my gosh. John H. said he was asked at a job interview what he thought the color blue tasted like. You know, what was your answer? Kathy Weekly said, yeah, somebody should. And that's like you know what, John, somebody should slap him and say, snap out of it, just like Cher did in that movie to, what's his name? And I just can't believe that the people in this world really think that they should be able to have relationships with balloons, and all of us need to say that's normal and that we understand it, and good for you for being in touch with your emotions. It's crazy to me. I've never heard anything like that in my life. So before we go, I get your comment, or if you're going to talk about something else, I want to let you guys know. Yeah, Moonstruck, Lily G. Tomorrow at noon, I'm going to do a show in the morning, and it's going to be scripture involved, those of you, and it's going to be about the scriptures that talk about the false prophets and the different things that are going on in the world, the good where it says that the good is going to be viewed as bad, bad is going to be viewed as good. So if anybody wants to join me tomorrow, noon Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to put that together when Cam and I get done, because that I think is important too, because I believe spirituality. I do believe that it is good against evil. On top of it, we are all energy, and we are all spiritual in one way or shape or form. And we need to pay attention to that, because you know what? There is no science and common sense that says somebody loving balloons should be a norm in society. I don't understand it. Did I deflate you?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Transgender balloons need love too.
When I hear that, I really have serious doubts for the future. That's honest to God what comes to my mind. Like, oh my God! Like,
can you imagine being the Right. And can you imagine being the person, not only him, but the person that's interviewing him to take it seriously, and then the editor and the bosses approving this story to go to print? I mean, there's a whole process to this. You don't just walk up to somebody, get this kind of interview, and it gets printed.
Well, here's the thing too. It gets views, it gets clicks. I mean, if we start, you could do it on your channel. Get somebody up that likes to eat toilet paper. It's one of those things where I think a lot of these are probably journalist agencies and things like that. They're doing it because it gets views. It's oh God.
We've sunken that low, so we look for clicks and views, and instead of putting the truth out there or something substantial. To me, those kind of stories used to be on the Star magazine. Remember those rag mags, they called it, and the Enquirer and all that kind of stuff. Now those kind of stories. I remember seeing like alien babies and so and alien babies on these tabloids in the supermarket, and people at checkout, and people used to laugh at that and say, "This is so ridiculous." And here we are now. It's made it to more mainstream media, so to speak. It's commonplace to have these kind of stories. And the other day, with the government calling out that there's aliens abound, maybe there's aliens abound. I mean, now's not the time to be narrow-minded. You have to be out there looking and watching and paying attention to who's saying what, because it's a slippery slope out there.
It's retarded. I just don't know where somebody gets to the point where they can sit there and say, I mean, you have the right to, right? I mean, that's your thing, but there's somebody out there like having sex with their cell phone now. Like,
I don't know.
like
At least it can make sounds back and talk to you back. I mean, a balloon. I mean, it's a balloon. But anyhow, that's all I had for tonight, Cam. We've went pretty long, an hour and a half. I'm just glad that you were able to join me again, and everybody else. And it's just one of those things, you just can't believe it. But I thought it was kind of funny because, with all the seriousness going on in the world, everybody needs a good laugh, because if you don't laugh at something like that, you'll end up crying.
Oh, yeah, that's unfortunate. I should have laughed at it more, but that was a little too far. Like a balloon.
Balloons, multiple balloons. You don't have to laugh. It's dumbfounding. It just, you can tell you are seriously troubled by that. But,
it makes me realize, that's what I'm getting at. It makes you realize, like, I'm not the smartest guy on the face of the damn planet. Jesus, I know this, but here's the thing. And see, Tim Pool and what's the other guy? Awaken with JP, another big channel. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about, and they go around to these universities. When you've got most of your youth and your college kids, like when I say youth, still in college, high school, and back, but like 25 and younger, let's say. And they said it's pretty much 1 to 1.5 per every 4 kids in school are on some form of psychotropic drug, SSRI, or ADHD or ADD medicine, such as Vyvanse or Concerta. You've got most of our youth are doped up. And
sad.
The next part of this is what's important is this guy runs around and does interviews with these kids, like interviews them. Do you take any medicines? A lot of them are embarrassed to say that they're on it. Then they do, and they warm up. And I watched several of them. He'd say, "What does it do to you? Like, what does it do?" And they were like, "Oh, it makes you focus unbelievable." But and they'll be like, "I feel like I'm a zombie, though." You're not in your right mind. You're just focused on this one thing. So, like, if they're having problems studying for good grades, you take that medicine. It's like a super drug. Mm-hmm. It'll improve your grades and everything. Awesome. Great. What's your life like outside of the school setting or whatever the reason you're taking it for? Oh, well, I can't eat. I barely sleep. A lot of these kids that guy had interviewed said that they're in almost like a delirium state all the time. They're on the border of passing out, but they can't go to sleep. So I'm sure they have auditory and visual hallucinations that's commonplace in their life. But by God, as long as the parents and the teachers are being able to teach them without any problems, that's the good. So I think that they're already starting to tie links to it. Go read around the internet a little bit. Go to your doctor next time you go and ask your doctor their opinion on it. The nation is so drugged. And then this is my opinion from what I've read. I think when you start a 5 or 6 year old kid out on medicine, some of them need it. I get that. Okay, whatever. But you're just doing it because the teacher said they're jumping around a little bit too much in their chair during school. They're kids.
Right. Right.
They're kids. That's what they do, right?
Right.
But you start this little child out at 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, all the way through college on something like Ritalin. And then that kid decides, hey, I want to go off this stuff now. It's literally like it's making me skinny and I can't sleep and I'm like a zombie. I've got black circles under my eyes. And they come off of it. The one thing we haven't realized yet is the permanent psychological damage that they're going to suffer by it not, right? And I think that it's got a lot to do with that. I think a lot of these young kids today that are making love to balloons and, I think that's got a little to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I won't disagree with that. Well, that's probably a wrap because we could really get on to, because I do want to do a show, like I said, about all that, with kids changing their male, female, and, this whole thing. I've said it before of libs of TikTok on Twitter and stuff, because it's not just a few people here and there. It's rampant across the country. And it's very disturbing. And, if we put it out there, hopefully we can make a change and do something about it, because like I said, it's another just slippery slope of the younger kids are the ones that are being affected by this. It's just a shame. So we are here to protect them, not let them decide that they're cats or dogs or he, she, them at a young age like they're doing. So anyhow, thanks again for joining me. I'm going to close it out, you guys. Once again, I'll be on tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time to cover the scripture stuff that I wanted to cover regarding things going on. And Cam, we'll see you next time, huh?
All right. Yep.
All right. Have a good night. All right.